We had the opportunity to sit down with Nish and Sam to talk about one of Intel's latest platforms, Wildcat Lake. We also got to see two of the prototypes for Intel's latest project called Firefly. It was pretty interesting to see all the different changes that have been done from a technical perspective in order to meet the specifications and hit a new market. My name is Alejandro Hoyos, and this is Talking Tech. Hey Nish, how's it going?
Hey!
Good to see you. Thanks for being here with us today. For those who are getting to know you, can you let us know what you do here at Intel?
Sure. My name is Nish Neelalojanan. I manage the product management organization, which is responsible for all the client products.
Quick question off the back to build some background.
Yeah.
What makes a good mainstream laptop?
When we say mainstream or value-conscious buyers, they want all the things they care about at a certain price point, or the cheapest possible price point they can get. So this could be battery life. This is snappy performance, so they normally do productivity, a little bit of productivity, web browsing, so snappiness in that performance.
Right.
And most importantly, compatibility. A lot of these have different printers, they want all their ports, all these compatibility which they love and have come to expect from their PCs. They want to make sure that is available in the way they like it. So those would be the three big things.
So Nish, how about you tell us about the whole story, how Wildcat Lake came to fruition, and and also what makes it so special?
Cool. So first of all, if I start with this value conscious buyer or mainstream, normally we make innovation. It comes out to all the premium buyers. There's a lot of both silicon and then all the platform innovation, and that gets waterfall down.
Right.
As we all know, everything is going up in price, and it's getting increasingly more and more expensive to make silicon and other innovations, and bringing that down to a value-conscious buyer has gotten harder and harder.
Right.
As a result, this segment has now been having 5, 6, 7-year-old technologies being pushed with minor updates.
That makes sense.
So what we wanted to do is try and figure out, can we bring the 3 or 4 things which we talked about, snappy, everyday performance, which is productivity and web browsing, give extended battery life,
right.
But at the right amount of price point with all the right technologies and compatibility they all love in this segment. So we wanted to do that with a custom built part, which takes hundreds and hundreds of millions of dollars to go invest, to go create a custom built part for that segment.
Right.
So our journey started off with building that, but then we very quickly realized a laptop, CPU alone, is not going to bring the rest of the innovation to those price points. So we worked along with the ecosystem to be able to bring the right screen size, right chassis. So now what that means is you're getting all of that in the latest and greatest technologies with the right screen, the right chassis, the thin and lightness. So every part of this things which the mainstream buyers would care about, both as a platform and an SoC level, is brought to fruition with Wildcat Lake and the ecosystem programs which we drove all put together.
The president won't do it alone. You need a whole platform, and you also need to work with partners closely to provide all those features that people are looking for.
Yes.
How do you know that, this is mainstream and we stay in mainstream, but then maybe those features start kind of getting to the gray area of the high end?
Great question. And AI is one example where the workload itself is evolving rapidly, and it takes a long time to build silicon. So when we were making decisions on Wildcat Lake a few years ago, we did not know how the AI software ecosystem is going to evolve. So what we did is we carefully put a smaller NPU and enough systolic AI on the graphics so that you can have the needed local AI to keep all the stuff private, but also then go to the cloud and work with the cloud. So in an agentic AI workload, all the orchestration could be done and be limited at that versus giving significant local AI processing performance, which is what a premium buyer would want. And we did not want to burden that with Wildcat Lake. Similar to that, across the board, we went and right-sized each of the IPs for that 3 things of snappy everyday performance,
Right.
battery life, and compatibility. And we kept reiterating that to ourselves, and that's where Wildcat Lake different choices were made.
Now that makes sense. And now that you're talking about the different IPs and AI, do you know what are the different engines and the configurations that we have there? So I know we have like a GPU and PU and CPU, but what are, give us a little taste of what the current configurations should be.
It always starts with a CPU, of course.
Yes.
So we have 2 Picos and 4 LPE cores.
Right.
The 2 Picos helps with that snappy part of the performance I talked about in terms of productivity and web browsing. And the 4 LPE cores helps with the battery life, because now you can contain all, if you're just browsing the web, etc., you can contain that in the LPE cores, which is what extended the, let's say, the significant battery life which we brought with Lunar Lake, now that we are waterfalling to Panther and Wildcat Lake.
Nice.
So that's our CPU configuration. We, like I mentioned before, we have a NPU, one tile NPU, and we also have a small enough graphics or right size graphics which have all the media capability. So if you wanted to watch something, a YouTube video, etc., all the latest and greatest encoding and decoding is there, so that you have no lag when it comes to consuming content. Also, if you want to play light games at 720p, that 2xe graphics score is good enough, but it also has systolic AI. So if you wanted that bursty oomph in terms of some of the hybrid AI workloads so you can run locally, it has all of that. So that is kind of our CPU, NPU, and GPU. And then we also took the IOs and right-sized them so that you don't compromise on the ports where you would normally use, but you also don't need the latest iteration of Thunderbolt and daisy chaining, which is what a premium user would do.
Okay. It was something that you mentioned that was pretty interesting. You said tiles, and it's something that I saw from Panther Lake to Wildcat Lake is like we went from several tiles to just one tile. Why do that?
So one of the ways in order to cost reduce is our engineering team had to go through and significantly reduce costs, both on the SoC but also on the platform. So in order to reduce the SoC cost, we've gone monolithic. Versus doing a multi-chip configuration. So that was one of the reasons. The other reason, of course, is we are also using a UCIe interconnect. So instead of having like a Foveros base die, which is what we have on the premium segments, and we have also gone to a cheaper packaging, which will allow platform cost reduction. We've done few other things I'm sure we'll talk about in terms of memory, single channel memory, etc. But one of the things we did is we've gone to a 6-layer motherboard, a Type 3 motherboard, which could sizably reduce the platform cost, because cost doesn't just come from the CPU alone, a lot of things on the platform. So that's one of the few reasons why we went to a different construction than what we do on the premium segment, but bring some of the premium IPs down.
Yeah, that's pretty interesting because you brought a lot of the features that we had in the premium segment, but still making it cost conscious to try to reduce the cost and hence doing just a monolithic approach.
Yeah.
So you mentioned earlier that you've been working with OEMs and also to make sure that we provide the right platforms and also to provide the right experiences. So Intel kicked off a project called Firefly and it launched in PRC. Can you let us a bit more of the details on how it works and what it is?
Sure. So like I mentioned, SoC is one part of it, but people buy laptops as a whole. And we wanted to make sure the right level of innovation on the platform side is also brought to the value conscious buyer. So this meant getting the right form factor, getting the right chassis, getting the right screen. So we went and worked with the China Tech ecosystem who's used to work with phone vendors and building out phone. We leveraged them, phone and tablets, we leveraged them to be able to build form factor reference designs, which was the Firefly program, which then we could scale with our OEM partners collectively. So, so we are bringing that cost conscious, let's say, platform features or bringing the right platform features with a cost conscious approach.
Okay, that makes sense. And is there, so that started over there in China. Do we have plans later on to extend it to the rest of the world, or do we have any ideas on where we're going to go?
Yes, so we leverage the China Tech ecosystem and think of it as a recipe So this not only acts as okay, you can take the reference design and do some of your own customization and productize it, or use that recipe and add your own flair to it. So it has caught on like wildfire. And you'll see more and more designs coming out with similar recipes, if not taking the same reference design.
What about partners that just want to keep pushing the envelope and go a little bit further on that?
Like I mentioned, it is a recipe, and we worked with overall our usual partners to make sure whatever innovation they want to do, they want to take parts of the recipe, the full recipe, however they want to customize, it's possible. And you'll see a lot of different innovations coming, but the program itself kickstarted that platform innovation for this part of the segment, and you'll see a lot more designs.
This sounds great. Nish, thank you very much. Appreciate it. Thanks for
you.
being here with us. Thank you. Hi, Sam. How's it going today?
How are you?
Doing well. Thank you for being here with us. And for those who are getting to know you for the first time, what do you do here at Intel? What's your title?
Yeah, I lead client edge business and engineering effort, including our software teams in China.
Oh, that's pretty cool, pretty amazing. And I see some great laptops over here that we're going to touch here in a minute. But before I jump into that, as of recently, this year, we launched a new processor, codename Wildcat Lake.
Yes.
So that's a pretty interesting processor. And we have covered in other interviews talking about from the technical perspective. But from your perspective, why is this a good fit for a mainstream laptop?
Yeah, so Wildcat Lake is a little mighty chip. Even though we designed it for the mainstream segment of our products, but it gives you all the power and the efficiency that you need for everyday usage. Right? It has good P-core and E-core.
Right.
It has very good AI capability.
Yes.
Very power efficient using our 18A process.
Yeah,
right?
that makes sense.
So you have everything you need to power you through a day of productivity or small medium business users, students, and so on and so forth. Right? It has the broadest coverage that we can think of.
No, that's pretty impressive. Yeah, this has all the features. Well, not all the features, but all the features from Panther Lake that are coming to this architecture. And the idea, I guess, that we were talking earlier is that it was to kind of redefine what mainstream is.
Yes.
So there's a program, I think, that your team kind of started, which is redefining mainstream. So tell us a little bit more about that.
Yes, as you said, right? So we target mainstream, and we want to make mainstream exciting again. Right. We call it mainstream reimagined. Right. At Intel, we work with our customers very, very closely. In the past, right, we tend to focus on, the premium segment, right? The ones that are the thinnest, the lightest, and most powerful designs. That's great, right? You see those kind of devices out there competing with our competitors, right, very mightily. Panther Lake 12XE based system are good examples, right?
Yes.
About a year ago, a few of us got together and we thought, hey, we have a good recipe for this, premium segment of products. What happened to the more mainstream designs, right? It's a bigger footprint, has been there for a long time,
right?
Brings a lot of value to Intel and to our customers. What if we look at this segment from a new angle? Right? Not only competing on only how much it costs you to get a system, but which kind of experience you will get, right? How thin that system can be, how quiet it can be, how long a battery life it can be. Let's do this differently. Let's reimagine mainstream. We call this program Firefly.
Oh, Firefly.
Firefly, right? We want to use Intel's Firefly design as a little lighting in a crowded world, right? And later on, many designs will come together from Firefly to a galaxy, right? That's where the name came from.
No, that's great. So when you guys were thinking about this whole mainstream thing, why, before we came to this solution, why was it so challenging to be able to have such a product in the mainstream?
So there are many reasons for that, right? One is, it's a competitive place, right? The segment is very competitive in terms of system price, in terms of experience, in terms of how many people want to get in. Right. So you have our traditional competitors. You also have new competitors, coming, try to get a piece of this really big market, right? The history is such that when you look at the mainstream designs from not only Intel but also from other industry participants,
Right.
they tend to emphasize more on, system price.
Yes,
right?
that makes sense.
Lesser so on what value or what experience it will bring to the end users, right? And that's the angle we want to attack, right? So we want to bring the best, the latest, the greatest technologies to the broadest user base as possible, right? Intel, that time, right, we know that Wildcat Lake will be a great product. It will use our 18A process node, and it will have the latest, greatest architecture from our P-cores, E-cores, low power E-cores. When you put all of this together, we think Wildcat Lake deserves a different look.
That's great, yes. And we have a different look that we'll cover here. One of the things that I wanted to give as a background for the people who are watching this is like, not everybody knows how laptops are developed.
Yeah.
So can you, how do we have to work with the ecosystem, with the memory, with all the OEMs? So can you tell us a little bit more in depth how that relationship is? And then we can jump into how was this created?
Of course. For Intel, right, we are known for the silicon process technology, the SoC designs. We also are clearly, an ecosystem leader, right? We, Intel, drive the ecosystem, right? I won't even say that, who wins the ecosystem wins the competition,
Okay.
right? So we look at Wildcat Lake, we look at Firefly, we want to take full advantage of new and more powerful ecosystem comparing to this traditional PC ecosystem we're in, right? Who are they? For example, the mobile phone ecosystem is bigger, right? We deliver 300 million units a year, the whole PC ecosystem. But if you look at the phone ecosystem, mobile phone ecosystem, close to 1 billion, even more,
Wow.
right?
Yeah,
much bigger ecosystem. We look at what Apple has been able to build for their ecosystem, right?
Yeah.
Very good designs. We have to be honest with us, right?
Yeah.
Very good ecosystem to support very good designs,
Right.
and we want to take full advantage of those. So we believe, Intel can utilize what's the best out there. Right. Be it volume, be it component pricing, be it software capabilities, be it ODM, players.
Right.
So we look at this differently from, let's just do it a traditional way, yet another design.
Right.
We want to do it, the new way, oftentimes with new players in our ecosystem.
Yeah, makes sense.
Bring new components, new ODMs, new software, ISVs, for example. And don't forget, this is also a transition time from, especially for mainstream, right, into this AI era.
Right.
We want to bring the best AI capability Intel, at that time would build this year to the broadest customer that who might have not been able to participate in this AI revolution. That's how we come up with this program.
So it makes a lot of sense. And if I understood correctly, we are looking more of a kind of a platform approach instead of just okay, here's just the processor, here's just the silicon, and we want to be able to enable this whole ecosystem and also bring new players to develop something better.
Correct. When most people think about Intel as process technology and the SoC company,
right?
But we actually deliver platforms. We deliver the overall experience, together with other industry participants, right? But we own the platform, right? Our customers, the Dell, HP, Lenovo, the ODMs, the OEMs, software community look at Intel as the leader for this platform.
Right.
It's our responsibility to look at any solutions we bring it to the market as the platform leader, right? As you said, we have to do this holistically for the entire platform.
No, that is great. All right, I can't wait anymore. So tell us a little bit more about these two guys that you have over here.
So what I'm holding here is one of the Firefly system that we have designed. and it's 12.9 millimeter thin. There are a few things that we have done differently from the past, right? One is, this kind of device, this thin, it's not unheard of for PCs, but they tend to be at the very high end of the PC offerings, right?
Yep.
We want to bring those kind of good experience to the mainstream, right? And there's other things that people will notice when they first time pick it up. For example, it's very clean.
Yep.
We call it a D, right?
Yep.
Cover A, B, C, and D.
D.
Without any cooling air inflow holes. So you look at this, it's very beautiful.
Right.
Very clean, very beautiful. We believe that mainstream designs can indeed deliver this kind of, not only a very, high performing system and, long battery life, but also aesthetic design that people bring it out and feel proud of it.
Yes,
right?
that makes sense.
We even chose some colors. This is, lavender color, my favorite, and we call it Intel color as a reference for our customers.
I mean, I love it because, like you said, it's completely different from the other colors that you usually see on a laptop, from the grays, the blacks, all that stuff. And yeah, like back here you were saying, is like we can see that, you have removed all of the ventilation for the thermals, and it looks very, very clean, very, very beautiful. So, and also it's really sturdy. Like before we start shooting, I grabbed it and I was like, wait, this feels like it's, like a high-end laptop. It's pretty interesting, and it's great. And here we have the features, HDMI, Type A,
Type C,
and Type C too. And also
it's actually, our Thunderbolt solution.
It's Thunderbolt, so it's really nice. So this is I love it, and the color, it's beautiful.
And this is a metal chassis, right? Most devices in this price band or mainstream in the past, they're all plastics, right?
Yes.
And you feel the flimsiness.
Right.
Yeah. And when I shared this with some of my friends to get some feedback, the first thing they did is they do this, right? They try to see whether it's flimsy, right?
Yeah.
And they do this, right? Whether it's sturdy.
Yes.
Right? After they look at this and they experience it, they couldn't believe that we're able to do this. But it's all possible if you work with the ecosystem on a platform level. Right?
Yeah, that makes sense. And you kind of gave them some parameters, some things like, okay, this is what we're looking for, how the system more or less. But there's still enough room for them to be able to differentiate from others.
Yes, and there are a lot of innovations goes with it, right? You look at this as a design. You look at this, form factor, Z height, screen resolution, and all that. But Intel has put into a lot of innovations into this kind of devices. Let me give you one example. So this is another unit, and we put a transparent decover.
Oh, nice.
And let me use a couple of examples. You probably can see there is a copper heat pipe here, right? If the similar engineer look at this, and the first thing they will notice is, it's thinner.
Yep, it's a lot thinner.
It's thinner than traditional or typical thermal solution. That's some of the innovation we put into this kind of systems to reduce the cost while maintain very good thermal solution. Right? Some of this. You see the copper plate and covering our chip, right?
Right.
And how you put it, right? Which kind of material you put underneath it?
Yes.
How you design the whole thermal solution together with this improved heat pipe design can reduce the cost,
right?
While increasing the thermal capability.
Performance. Yes.
Right. So that's one example. The other example I want to give to you is a lot of the designs nowadays, through our in-house initiative and together with our customers, we have mainboard for CPU, memory, and so on, high-speed signaling and control. And you also have I/O on the side,
the I/O board, yes.
Right? Give people more choices.
Yep,
right?
That makes
they
sense.
all have their differentiation, as you mentioned. How to connect the mainboard and the I/O board? A lot of people can do it, right? People do it. But our engineers came up with solutions that is cheaper and better. If you take a closer look, you see a cable, right?
Yep.
And this cable is lower cost, and we standardize the interface and we publish this interface for our customers so they can define high-speed I/O through this cable, give you both the lower cost, but also you can customize. You can differentiate which kind of signal you want to bring out from here, right? So this kind of innovation Intel put into this give you both a good experience and also a very competitive system price.
Yeah.
So let me give you one more example. We talk about utilizing mobile phone ecosystem. Right?
Exactly, yeah, as an example.
Right? So one example is all the devices here, they have codecs, audio codecs, right? Audio, processing, video,
encode,
audio playback, decode, right? The mobile phone ecosystem and the PC ecosystem have traditionally used different codecs, different standard, different interface. The mobile phone ecosystem's codec tend to be smaller with fewer pins, right? If you don't spend time on it, you feel that, I just go with the traditional
with the traditional
PC,
one is
right?
already done,
But our engineers took a different approach. To look at the mobile phone codecs and to redefine the pins for the package. And we can design a mobile phone codec, right? A codec from the mobile phone ecosystem into this kind of systems. So you have smaller footprint, you have lesser BOM to support the chip,
right?
And you have a more cost-effective chip itself, right? When you put all of those things together, you have a better design, a lower cost. Another good example would be memory, right? We all know that memory gone through the roof, right? But even before the memory storage gone through the roof, our engineers already forecasted that, hey, if we bring in memory technology solutions, right? Memory from the for the phones, business, right? To the PCs, right? A lot more work for Intel, but if we finish it, we define the signal, we define some kind of interposer. So you do this whole thing for the entire ecosystem. More work for Intel, more choices, lower cost, better time to market for our customers.
Right.
And that's exactly what we did.
No, that's pretty impressive. It is great because, yes, it might seem like a higher cost for Intel, but maybe like at the beginning. But like you said, later on for our customers and everybody else, the big payoff is for all of us. So.
Correct. A lot more effort by Intel, right? But once we do it, everyone can benefit from this. Yes. That's the strength of the power of the ecosystem. Right? Intel does it once, and others can just scale it.
No, this is great. I had two questions for you. So the first one is related to this. Well, that's everything related. But the first one is, how have our partners received this type of leadership of this type of program? How have they received Firefly?
Yeah, great question, right? So we don't do this just in a vacuum, right? So we do this for our customers. I have to be honest with you. At the very beginning of this effort, there were people, doubting it, right? Could this be done, right? Mainstream.
Yeah, exactly.
Why should I spend time on that, right? But through the last 12 months or so, we encouraged everyone to take a look at the mainstream segment differently.
Yes.
Right. Not just get the device out there, make it as cheap as you can, but think about AI, think about thin line, think about longer battery life, think about end user experience, and people start to turn. Right. And through our enabling effort, we made the changing of our OEMs, product planning, execution a bit easier for them. Right?
Yeah, makes
sense.
So
you can have them follow you, right?
Right.
So I'm very happy to say that today we have many customers designing their Wildcat Lake-based mainstream reimagined devices based on Firefly.
No, that's amazing.
Firefly, right? So you probably have seen some announcement from our friends in the ecosystem, and some of them are superbly designed, very competitive designs that this segment has never seen.
Yeah, there's a lot of excitement. I mean, I'm also very excited, especially now that I actually get to see one of these. I am I'm honestly very impressed because this had like a great, like you said, feel and look, and I can't wait to just start playing with it and see how it performs, but it's great.
Indeed, you will see more OEM designs coming online in the next few months, right? We have Dell, HP, Lenovo, Acer, Asus, and many other customers have worked with us in the last, you'll see, a few quarters to bring their new mainstream reimagined devices to the market. Some of them already hit the market.
Yeah.
And I heard that some of them sold out already.
Oh,
right?
really?
Yeah, very exciting
Impressive.
to see it. It takes a whole industry to change a segment, right?
Yep.
Very big segment for Intel and for our customers and for our common end users. They all need to come together.
No, that makes sense, and it looks great.
Another example I want to give to you is I'm holding a module that we have done, right? With Intel SoC and 2 memory chips. You probably can tell immediately, say, oh, those are not PC
there's
memories, right?
Exactly.
Not typical your PC memories.
Yeah.
Well, that's true, because those are memories from the phone ecosystem, right? Our team put together this holistic solution, we call it a CoreLogic module, for our customers, right? Intel SoC, couple of phone memory modules in one package. So our customers can indeed take this as a ready-made solution, put them inside their mainstream reimagined designs without a lot of struggle, right? So it's verified by Intel, the design collaterals, right there. They can just take it as a solution, trustworthy solution, working with us to speed up the development and manufacturing of their systems.
Yeah, that makes sense because we're doing all the heavy lifting. When it comes to that design, and here you go, it's already designed for you guys. Just have to go and implement it if you want. You're giving them more options. You
give them more options, and you speed up the development process.
Yes.
We do it once here, and many people can benefit from it, right? I'll give you one example. We started this, Firefly program about a year ago, and our first customer engagement with the ODMs, couple of them, our longtime partners, and they're able to, start from listening to us and get the idea to the time they, start designing to the time they did actual system demonstration at the CES within 3 months.
Okay.
Right.
Wow.
That's unheard of, right? Usually it's a year, right?
Yep.
We just had one more design with our friends from Lenovo, who did one of their designs based on Firefly less than 3 months, because they were able to take advantage of the system that we have designed with our ODMs. They make some changes, right? To make sure it's their design, right?
Right.
And they were able to bring it to the market, with less than 3 months, right?
That is impressive, very impressive. Yeah. I mean, they're just opening doors to completely the turnaround time for new designs is now so short.
Yeah. So when we do this kind of baseline designs, our customers can spend more time on the system level innovation, so they can differentiate. They can, compete with others, and they can bring better solutions to the customers that they want to serve, right? Yeah. So it's good for everyone.
The other question I had for you is, I've been talking. I have, friends in the press and all over the place, influencers, all that stuff. And one of the things that I've seen that a lot of people comment is this Firefly program, it's a response to competition. Is this actually a response to competition, or this has been planned earlier? What's the actual, how it came about?
Yeah, so I heard that too, right?
Yeah.
People tend to, hey, this is Intel's Firefly, competed directly with someone else's design.
Yeah.
We love competition. They make us all better, right? Nothing wrong with that. However, Firefly program or Intel's mainstream Reimagined initiative is not really, targeted any particular designs from, so and so.
Exactly.
Right? We squarely look at this as a way to bring new experience, the best technology that Intel can offer, the ecosystem can offer to the broadest user base, right? Put it in a sentence is, I truly believe all devices cannot open up a new world. Right? You need this kind of new devices to bring the new experience to end users to this new world of AI. That's what we're doing.
No, that's amazing. Sam, thank you so much. Appreciate it. I learned a lot and I love these devices. I can't wait to play with them. Thank you for being here with us.
Thank you.
Appreciate
Thank you.
it.